I don't. You don't have one.
Welcome, everyone. Appreciate your joining us today for the Tooele Valley Rural Planning Organization meeting on September 9th. And it is 1:37. And we will start with introductions. First, we'll go around the room in person, and then we'll go online. So I am Wayne Benyon with the Wasatch Front Regional Council. We provide staff support to the Tooele Valley Rural Planning Organization, and we'll go around the room.
Brittany Lopez, Tooele County.
Evan Lane, UDOT.
Jeff Dupay, UDOT. Kevin Mann, North Tooele Fire.
Kim Quasi, North Tooele Fire. Rosie Hernandez, WFRC.
Michelle Custer, Tooele County.
Kendall Thomas, Tooele County.
Neil Critchlow, Grassfield City.
Scott Dubay, Erda. Terry Minor, Erda.
Kendall Durante, UDOT.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. Special welcome to Tyler Lang, who has not been part of the RPO before. He's the new UDOT Region 2 Traffic Operations Engineer, and we are glad you're able to join us. On mine, let's start with Olivia.
Olivia Vaughn, UTA.
And we, it looked like she unmuted herself, but Olivia, would you try one more time?
Yes, are you able to hear me?
Yes, now we
Okay.
are.
Perfect. Yeah, Olivia Vaughn, UTA Strategic Planning.
Thank you. And Christy?
Christy Montero, Grantsville City Public Works.
And John?
John Perez, Economic Development Director, Tooele City.
Thank you, John. And Katie?
Hi, everybody. Katie Corianos with Clorox here representing UDOT's SR36.
Thank you, Katie. And Mayor Wynn?
Mayor Wynn, Tooele City.
Thank you. And Sarah?
Hi, Sarah Kay. I am here with Clorox representing UDOT for the SR36 and I-80 project.
Thank you. Well, welcome, everyone. We appreciate your being here. And the first item on the agenda is the March 11th meeting minutes. Is there anyone who would make a motion for us on those?
So moved.
Thank you, Councilman Thomas. And a second from Terry Minor, Councilman Terry Minor with Erda. Thank you. All in favor? Any opposed? All right, those will stand approved. Thank you. And we'll move right to item 2, which is, as you know, all of us have been working together to develop the Tooele Valley Long Range Transportation Plan for 2024 to 2050 over the past few years. At the March meeting of the RPO, the release of the 3 elements of the plan were released for public comment. And I'd like to just ask Brittany if she would share each of those briefly, just for the record and perhaps to refresh our memories. This is can you see that on the online on this? Just one sec. You're good.
We're just 5 years old.
I'm so sorry.
No worries. All right. Okay. Okay, so if you want to look at those, you can access it from your email. We've got the draft needs-based 2050 highway phasing, and then a separate map for the active bicycle route types and phasing. And then a one-page summary of the Tooele Valley transit element. And then a list of all the comments that were received via the interactive map and the open house. You'll recall that during the month of May of this year, the plan elements were advertised, noticed, and out for public comment. And along with the list of the public comments, there's also a one-page summary of the comments. For example, a number of requests were made for rail service between Tooele Valley and Salt Lake Valley. And for each of the half dozen summary level comments, there's a response on that same page. The response for rails in regard to rail service was, please refer to the Tooele Transit Feasibility Study conducted by UTA. More information is also available in UTA's long-range transportation or transit plan, rather. And then a number of comments, thank you. A number of comments expressed opposition to the Ochre Expressway. The response to that on the summary page is UDOT conducted a planning study in 2022 to identify potential solutions to improve the transportation network in Northeast Tooele County. Each of these conceptual improvements would require more in-depth analysis and funding to move forward. So those, the majority of the comments, like maybe between 15 and 20 comments each were the request for rail service and then the opposition to the Ochre Expressway. And then you can see in the summary, there were a number of other comments that were made, and there's also a response to those. Either from folks online, if folks online have a comment to make, please enter it in the chat and we will repeat it verbally and allow for discussion. And then I would open it up for comments and discussion on the plan and the public comments. Councilman Thomas.
Yeah, one of my, I hear a lot.
Oh, thank you. Well, thank you.
One of the things that I hear a little bit about, Mid-Valley Highway. And I know there's two phases. The first phase is wonderful. It's a good start. And I know Mayor Wynn and I have been participating in some meetings with Utah Transportation Commission, a one-off kind of a deal to see how we can move the third phase along. Mayor Wynn has done a great job of moving that along. But I don't hear nothing about the middle section. And we know that's caught up in La Land somewhere. How do we elevate that and get this on the second phase, the third phase, and keep pushing it along?
Thank you. So I think there's nothing restraining anyone from pushing that forward. the RPO plan is not financially constrained, and it is needs-based. And we did have some discussion back in March among the RPO or at that meeting. And I think it could have gone either way. It ended up that we put it, showed it as a phase 3 need, with the acknowledgement that there's definitely need sooner than phase 3, but there's also, we also wanted to create less confusion by having consistency with the UDOT long-range plan, which is financially constrained. And so that was the discussion back in March, that given that it would not prevent people from moving that middle phase forward, that show it in phase 3, that and for the sake of consistency with the statewide long-range plan, we would leave it in phase 3. But if there's a desire from the majority of the RPO members to change that, we certainly can have that discussion.
And I guess I'm lacking in knowledge here, and I know it's, there's some moving parts to it. The third phase, why in the heck can't we get this damn thing moving? That's kind of my, that's kind of my frustration.
You bet.
And then with knowing long-term that there are certain things that's got to happen in the middle, the second phase, whether we do the engineering, the environmental or whatever. But I don't hear any discussion, and I don't know where the best place. So maybe you could educate me. Andy can, he's tried to for 4 years now, and he hasn't done a very good job of educating me. But how do we, I want that to stay on our radar.
You bet. And I would say that it is on the radar. Finding funding, I think another part of the discussion is that we don't want to create the expectation, or there has been a desire expressed to not create the expectation among members of the public that it's going to happen quickly. And that's not to say, just like you and Mayor Wynn and others have been working with UDOT to move phase 3 forward, there's nothing to prevent that same type of thing happening with phase 2.
Because I know first phase took forever to get it
Yes.
going, and finally somebody come under and got underneath and moved it forward. So somewhere, I guess it's in our court, but I know I'm lacking the expertise to say, where in the heck do we begin? So we just keep it out on the radar, so we keep pushing it forward. That's all. Thanks, Wayne.
You bet. Thank you. No, I think that would be important for the members of the RPO and the members of the city governments to keep talking it and having conversations and involving, working with UDOT to see if there are specific steps that would be appropriate to move it forward. Thank you. And let me first turn to Jeff, or council. We'll turn to Councilman Drew Bay.
So from our conversations at our March meeting, we're in favor of not holding up phase 3, waiting for phase 2, because there's so much more need. So much more need for phase 3 than there is for phase 2. And any money becomes available, ERDA thinks it should be spent getting phase 3 done. Then we'll worry about phase 2 after that. Because phase 2 doesn't slow anything down.
Right.
I mean, if it's not done for however many years, it doesn't slow the movement of traffic down, whereas phase 3 does. You've got all those trucks coming down Main Street. It's not only slows them down, but it's a danger.
Right.
So if we're pushing this forward, let's, as soon as we get money, let's spend it on number 3, on phase 3.
Thank you. Appreciate that. And we'll turn some time to Jeff Dupay with UDOT Region 2.
Yeah, so just
just to, I appreciate Kendall's, passion for this because it is a priority. And we do recognize that. The challenge, like, like anything is, it comes down to what we are able to build with the funds that we have when those funds become available. So as far as keeping that ball moving forward, I would just continue, bringing it up, saying, hey, where are we at with that phase? Because that way, it kind of helps ensure that it doesn't get dropped. I can, speaking for the department, I don't think that's ever going to be our intent, is to let things like that slide. Because we know how important it is to the county and how important it is to try to build as these communities out here grow, to have a good grid network, not only to for the trucks, but to help all the new residents get around this valley. That I think from our perspective, that's even in some ways even more important from a planning perspective, because how each community connects to each other is just as important as trying to address some of the current needs that there are today. So yes, it is a priority, and it will stay a priority for us.
Thank you, Jeff. Councilman Minor.
Yeah, I guess I need some clarification. Before, it was broke down into like 3 phases. One phase is already done. The second phase was the part that went through Erda. And then the third phase was the part that went around Tooele and all the way out. But now it looks like the whole Mid-Valley Highway now is phase 3
No,
on the map.
there's a yellow segment on the map that represents the middle phase, or phase 2. And then there's a blue segment on the map at the south end that represents phase 3.
So
And
just,
so
like I
there-
said, I just wanted to clarify that the part that runs through Erda, it can go down the road as far as it wants to, but the other ones can be sped up.
Thank you. And maybe better terminology is the middle section is the middle section, and the southern section is the southern section. And it sounds like from what and the way it's shown on the map, there is, it's shown as a more urgent need to construct the southern section, and a less urgent need, but still a strong need to construct the middle section. I apologize. I probably was not using as clear of terminology as might have been helpful. Jeff?
Sorry, I don't mean to jump up twice. One point I forgot to make that I think is really important for that middle section. And that is, as these communities allow development with adjacent to that corridor, we desperately need you to help us preserve that corridor. Because the moment development comes in and takes that property, that then makes us have to redo the environmental document. It also slows down the process, because now we have to go back in and try to realign that roadway. So corridor preservation is absolutely critical now for the future. I can't say that any more clearly than that. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Kim?
Kim Clausing, North Tooele Fire District. So I just want to ask, what can we as agencies, like especially emergency response, help to make sure and ensure that those corridors are kept open, or information is relayed that it is important for emergency crews as well to respond to? Our fire marshal has looked at plans in unincorporated areas of, more trucking industry things coming in. And so we do believe it's really important to keep those. So how would it help for us to, I've watched the long range plan for years now. And, when the inland port came in, I watched how, 5600 West, 7200 West, those weren't in the plans, but all of a sudden they were in the plans. And so I just don't know how we can get in the plans a little bit sooner when I saw that those weren't in the long range plans, but then all of a sudden 5600 West and 7200 West is expanded and overpasses and bicycle routes and things like that, that, you know, kind of help with that out that direction. And then like the trucking industry, I don't know if you would like us to reach out to them, because I know the lane that goes up Parley's. I know the trucking industry is the one that approached and wanted the fourth lane that goes up Parley's. And so, you know, is that something that we need to do, is reach out to other corresponding agencies that, you know, are coming in, like the Inland Port, you know, trucking industries, things like that, to have them also address that they would like to see better highways. I just want to help get the word out. I don't know how you would like us to approach that. And, you know, just some of the studies I've seen, we have at North Tooele some of the top 5 intersections that get the most accidents. And so, you know, we want to help assist with that and just keep our citizens safe by having those roadways, you know, come in a little bit sooner than later.
Thank you. Jeff, would you?
I was planning on just sitting back here and listening to everything. Yeah, I appreciate that point. And so when I talk about the corridor preservation, because it's on the long range plan out here, that allows us on a willing buyer, willing seller basis to reach out. So that's why, you know, like I mentioned to the some of the area communities, if they're aware of developments that are coming in that are adjacent to the corridor, if you know, it comes back to communication. If we know, then we can reach out to the developer and say, would you be willing to work with us, because we have this identified corridor for Mid Valley Highway. Let's talk and let's figure out what that price would be to preserve this corridor, so that you can build what you need to build, but we can also have these things in place for when that time comes that we can actually build that segment, we can do so. So you know, a lot of times, you know, it's not surprising that, you know, things come into the plan in between planning years and such, because conditions are constantly changing. So I think the more proactive we can be as an RPO in working together and talking through some of these things, and like Kendall mentioned, having these conversations, keeping them at the forefront, I think can really help us keep it top of mind. Yep.
Thank you, Jeff. Any other comments or discussion on this topic? Hearing and seeing none, I would entertain a motion for approval of the 2024 to 2050 Tooele Valley Long Range Transportation Plan.
So moved.
Thank you, Councilman Thomas. Anyone who would like to second? And thank you, Andy Welch with Tooele County. And all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The Mayor Nguyen, would you mind indicating your vote?
Yes, I vote aye.
Thank you. That was an aye. All right. We've got, let's see. All right, and so we've got two agencies with an aye. Is there a third agency? Did I miss any agency with an aye? Okay, thank you. ERDA is also an aye. Okay, thank you. Well, with that, the long-range transportation plan for Tooele Valley is approved, and appreciate your support and work over the past few years to get us to this point of approval. It's an essential step in moving transportation priorities forward in the valley, and so thank you. All right, with that, I'd like to turn the time over to Tyler Lang with UDOT Region 2 to talk about, to share some CMAQ program information.
Thank you. So, hello, everyone. I'm here to talk about our next round of CMAQ applications for the CMAQ program. And I will let Wayne kind of maybe give a brief overview of the CMAQ program and also, so part of this program or what we do with this program is we allow the local agencies to apply for projects to be funded that are specifically focused on bettering the air quality in the area. And Wayne and I have been talking back and forth about this, and I kind of introduced it already, but is there more you want to say about it, and maybe give some example projects that would qualify under this particular funding source?
You bet. Thanks, Tyler. Most of you are probably aware the Environmental Protection Agency, based on national air quality standards that they adopt, designates areas throughout the country as attaining or not attaining the air quality standards for various pollutants. And the Eastern Tooele County has been designated as non-attainment for both ozone and particulate matter, also for particulate matter of 2.5 microns or less. And because of that, Tooele Valley area is eligible for congestion mitigation air quality funds. So you can debate whether being designated a non-attainment area was worth getting a bit of money to apply for, but at any rate, that's been so the state receives by federal formula a certain amount of CMAQ funds, and those are divided. UDOT has historically divided those among different areas, non-attainment areas of the state, according to the population percentage within the non-attainment areas of the state. So, and so this is a funding program that's eligible, or the local governments and UDOT and UTA are eligible to apply for in Tooele Valley. And some examples of projects that have been funded through this program are the park and ride lot up in Stansbury Park next to the Benson grist mill, park and ride lot construction eastern end of Grantsville, and also park and ride lot upgrade back in the day in West Grantsville. Sidewalk improvements are eligible if you can demonstrate that it will result in a reduction of personal vehicle trips. So basically that tends to be sidewalks that will be utilized by school children, youth, or by commuters, and same with bicycle routes. Those are also eligible for commuter and school users. And I'll just, Thank you. Yeah, pedestrian underpasses and overpasses are eligible if they serve commuter and school populations and or school populations. They're finalizing a fiber connection to the Emergency Operations Center here, was funded through the CMAC program. Flex route operations for a few years. UTA flex route operations were funded. Intersection improvements are also eligible if you can demonstrate an air quality benefit associated with the intersection improvement. So those are a few examples that how CMAC has been used.
Thanks, Wayne. So, so the way this process works is we collect letters of intent. And basically it's a letter that has what you would like to apply for this funding. It doesn't go into all the nitty-gritty details. It can just be, you know, a fairly high level idea, but it needs to be accompanied with an estimate. You know, again, a high level estimate on what this project would cost. You know, and a high level description of it, and then the contact information of the agency or the individual applying for this funding. So we're asking that these letters of intent be submitted, and those would come to me. Yeah. Be submitted by Friday, October 18th. And we can probably, you can see or get my email address off of the invite to this meeting. It's, and I'll just tell it to you, tlang, LAING @utah.gov. So if you can send those to me by the 18th of October, those letters of intent, and then we'll give you almost a month to fill out the formal application. We're asking that those be submitted by Friday, November 15th. And just as an FYI, we have about $1.2 million available in the fund. If we program through fiscal year 25, if we extend that to fiscal year 26, there's about 1.5 million. So we have a good chunk of money to spend on one or more projects. This would be a great opportunity to partner as agencies. If you can come up with maybe a larger project that can spend a larger amount of that money, that would be a good idea. But, you know, certainly open to any ideas and letters of intent that you would like to submit on that. Any questions from anybody?
Just note, Tyler, that that's at the normal match amount that the local or whoever entity is putting in that letter will have to have a match amount. That's just the regular federal match amount.
Yeah, in Utah, that is 6.77%.
Yeah.
If you got an EP grant, do you know where those types are allowable as the match or no?
The federal transportation dollars are not allowable as a match.
Yeah. I believe things such as right of way and, you know, improvements that the agency is willing to do can go towards that match as well. So, but yeah, the question for people online was, or the statement was talking about a match that's required for this funding. It's 6.77% match, which is pretty reasonable, I think, for what you get in return. So
yeah, many states in the country have closer to a 20% match requirement.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? Yeah, so with the project costs, it's not just the cost of the material and the construction, but it's also the design and any of the project management that goes along with the project. So be sure to factor that into your estimates. Thanks, Jeff.
Yeah, that's a good point. There will be a cost estimate after the letters of intent are screened for eligibility, there will be a cost estimate form, a concept report form, and a emissions form that you can have fun with.
And our friends at WFRC can help you with all of that. If you have any specific questions, or you can reach out to me. So, yes.
Terrific.
Okay, thank you.
Tyler. Appreciate it. Kendall is one of the people online.
One of them online that's going to do our presentation, and then I'll fill in. So Katie is going to do the presentation part, and then I'll fill in the gaps.
Yeah. I was hoping I'm gonna do the presentation. I was just hoping to be made a presenter so I could share my screen.
Sarah, can you either get closer to your mic or increase your volume somehow?
Yes, is this any better?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Oh, let's see. I just got the notification. Let me.
Are you able to share your screen, Sarah?
Yeah, it's giving me a notice. It says the host isn't allowing a multiple presenter sharing for the webinar.
Just 1 minute.
Okay, yep, no problem.
Okay, try again, please.
Okay.
We can see it. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. Of course. So starting us off, I wanted to touch on southbound construction. So construction kicked off in July and is currently underway on SR 36. Crews did start on that northern project limit, so at Sunset, and they are working their way down south. Currently work is all taking place at night just to kind of help minimize those impacts to drivers in the area. A couple construction activities that are currently happening is the roadway excavation from Sunset Road to the Stansbury Park storage facility. So that is currently happening along with crews are working on the driveway culverts in that area as well. A couple upcoming things, paving is anticipated to start September 22nd. So that's in a little less than 2 weeks. And the goal again there is to start on the northern limit, work their way south to hopefully about Pole Canyon Road, or as far as they're able to get before winter shutdown. Right now it's anticipated that winter shutdown will happen sometime in October, just kind of depends on the weather. With the anticipated phase 2 construction starting back up in April of 2025. So for the winter, all the traffic control will be removed. Everything will be tied up for the winter. And then in April, they will begin again going to the southern limits of the project with the goal of substantial completion being in May of 2025. Wanted to pull up the schedule as well, since it's been a little bit since we've shared this. So southbound construction is currently ongoing. For northbound, it's going to be taking place next construction season of 2025. So again, widening northbound to the 3 lanes, improving the intersections, and then adding that auxiliary lane on eastbound I-80. So I have a couple maps I wanted to share of just the individual intersections and talk about some of the improvements here. So Stansbury Parkway, so as you can see, as they're approaching the intersection headed northbound, there's going to be that 3rd lane that is added there to help with construction or with congestion in the area, hopefully keep cars moving through there. That'll be a part of the construction in 2025. Sunset Road intersection, there will be the new traffic signal that's going in. From the outreach we've done for southbound construction, all the businesses and residents have been super excited about the light signal going in. So that's been a big conversation piece that we've heard on our end, again, just to kind of help safety in the area, keep traffic flowing and through the intersection as well. For Saddleback, they will be adding the new dual left, dual right turns, helping with congestion, enhancing mobility, help clear the traffic during those backup hours of rush hours when SR 36 gets very busy. And then, of course, for eastbound I-80, adding that auxiliary lane to eastbound I-80 that exits to SR 201. Again, helping with congestion, hopefully with safety with the trucks and cars trying to weave in and out there, trying to exit. So that will be going in as part of the northbound project next year as well. So lots of improvements coming, hopefully to help the overall flow of traffic with the amount of growth that's happening in Tooele. Anything you wanted to add, Kendall, or any questions?
So we'll just take questions.
Any questions for Sarah, either in person or online?
I have a question, you guys. Along that stretch as you're gonna turn to go onto 201, there is a constant issue with water right going up onto on I-80.
You're talking right about where the old view area, yeah, we plan on doing a pipe, a jack and bore underneath to help relieve some of that water that's there. So it is planned with this project. I guess I should talk in microphone and stuff, just those are great.
Yeah, we're.
Okay, so a question. Oh, wrong one. So the question was about some water that's coming across the roadway there by the old call view area, rest area that was off to that shoulder. The project does have plans to take care of that water. There's a plan to put in a pipe in that location. So that will be part of that project. So it should help alleviate some of those problems that have been had in the past.
Thank you. Other comments or questions? Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Kendall. Appreciate that update. All right. I just wanted to, for agenda item 5, just wanted to make sure everybody is aware of the comprehensive safety action plan that was adopted by the WFRC Regional Council back in late April. The action plan contains a very comprehensive safety analysis of, or a needs analysis of safety needs across the region, Tooele County, Morgan County, Southern Box Elder, Weber Davis, and Salt Lake counties. It's all accessible on the WFRC website under programs, and then you can go down to comprehensive safety action plan. There's an executive summary there that you can flip through or download, as well as the entire 100-page document, 120-page document, not to scare people off, but and then there's also, thank you, there's the executive summary, and then the entire document, which can also be downloaded, and then a story map where you can go through a series of maps that outline the elements of the safety needs analysis. There were 5 different analytical methods that were used to look at safety needs, risk factors, crash history, other calculations. And then there are also, a series of 6 appendices. And Appendix D has the details for each of the 11 geographic focus areas across the region. So Appendix D, as in dog, 11, that appendix has 110 pages or so, 114 pages, of information related to safety in Tooele County. So it'll go through the needs analysis and recommended improvements, strategies that are available to mitigate those safety needs or try to address those safety needs. Beginning on page 80 of the document, or of this appendix rather, are up to 3 specific projects with potential improvements, safety improvements, up to 3 specific projects in each jurisdiction throughout the county. You can see the list of, and we call these case study sheets in the plan or project information sheets, and you can get ideas for a few specific projects that were, and it takes you through the need and the recommended improvements, as well as some high level or initial planning level cost estimates. You can pick and choose from among the improvements that are identified there and create a project, to pursue to address safety at those locations, as well as being able to go through other safety needs that are identified in the analysis. But these project information sheets are perhaps particularly useful because they already kind of outline the need, the improvements or potential improvements, and cost estimates. So it's a great starting point, great resource. So just wanted to make sure you were all aware of that. Again, wfrc.org under programs, comprehensive safety action plan. Any questions or comments there? All right. Well, as always, feel free to ask questions anytime. Reach out to UDOT, WFRC, UTA. Happy to talk about needs and potential avenues for addressing those transportation needs. So with that, any other business for today? All right. Hearing none, seeing none, we'll just note that the next RPO meeting is scheduled for Monday, December 9th, 1:30 p.m. Hopefully we'll be able to meet here again, and thank you again to Tooele County for hosting us, and we'll stand adjourned. Thank you.